Beth played her gayest march. Amy threw open the door, and Megan acted escort with great dignity. Mrs. March was both surprised and touched, and smiled with her eyes full as she examined her presents and read the little notes which accompanied them. The slippers went on at once, a new handkerchief was slipped into her pocket, while scented with Amy's cologne, the rose was fastened in her bosom, and the nice gloves were pronounced a perfect fit. There was a good deal of laughing and kissing and explaining in the simple, loving fashion which makes these home festivals so pleasant at the time, so sweet to remember long afterwards, and then all fell to work. The morning charities and ceremonies took so much time that the rest of the day was devoted to preparations for the evening festivities. Being still too young to go often to the theater, and not rich enough to afford any great outlay for private performances, the girls put their wits to work, and necessity being the mother of invention, made whatever they needed. Very clever were some of their productions: pasteboard guitars, antique lamps made of old-fashioned butter boats covered with silver paper, gorgeous robes of old cotton, glittering with tin spangles from a pickle factory, and armor covered with the same useful diamond-shaped bits left in sheets when the lids of preserve pots were cut out. The big chamber was the scene of many innocent revels. No gentlemen were admitted, so Jo lay male parts to her heart's content and took immense satisfaction in a pair of russet leather boots given her by a friend, who knew a lady who knew an actor. These boots, an old foil, and a slashed doublet once used by an artist for some picture, were Jo's chief treasures and appeared on all occasions. The smallness of the company made it necessary for the two principal actors to take several parts apiece, and they certainly deserved some credit for the hard work they did in learning 3 or 4 different parts, whisking in and out of various costumes, and managing the stage besides. It was excellent drill for their memories, a harmless amusement, and employed many hours which otherwise would have been idle, lonely, or spent in less profitable society. On Christmas night, a dozen girls piled onto the bed which was the dress circle, and sat before the blue and yellow chintz curtains in a most flattering state of expectancy. There was a good deal of rustling and whispering behind the curtain, a trifle of lamp smoke, and an occasional giggle from Amy, who was apt to get hysterical in the excitement of the moment. Presently a bell sounded, the curtains flew apart, and the operatic tragedy began. A gloomy wood, according to the one playbill, was represented by a few shrubs in pots, green baize on the floor, and a cave in the distance. This cave was made with a clothes horse for a roof, bureaus for walls, and in it was a small furnace in full blast, with a black pot on it and an old witch bending over it. The stage was dark and the glow of the furnace had a fine effect, especially as real steam issued from the kettle when the witch took off the cover. A moment was allowed for the first thrill to subside, then Hugo, the villain, stalked in with a clanking sword at his side, a slouching hat, black beard, mysterious cloak, and the boots. After pacing to and fro in much agitation, he struck his forehead, and burst out in a wild strain, singing of his hatred for Roderigo, his love for Zara, and his pleasing resolution to kill the one and win the other. The gruff tones of Hugo's voice, with an occasional shout when his feelings overcame him, were very impressive, and the audience applauded the moment he paused for breath. Bowing with the air of one accustomed to public praise, he stole to the cavern and ordered Hagar to come forth with a commanding, "What ho, minion! I need thee." Out came Meg, with grey horsehair hanging about her face, a red and black robe, a staff, and cabalistic signs upon her cloak. Hugo demanded a potion to make Zara adore him, and one to destroy Roderigo. Hagar, in a fine dramatic melody, promised both, and proceeded to call up the spirit who would bring the love philtre. "Hither, hither, from thy home, airy sprite, I bid thee come. Born of roses, fed on dew. Charms and potions canst thou brew? bring me here, with elfin speed, the fragrant philtre which I need. Make it sweet and swift and strong, Spirit, answer now my song. A soft strain of music sounded, and then at the back of the cave appeared a little figure in cloudy white, with glittering wings, golden hair, and a garland of roses on its head. Waving a wand, it sang. Hither I come, from my airy home, afar in the silver moon. Take the magic spell, and use it well. Well, or its power will vanish soon. And dropping a small, gilded bottle at the witch's feet, the spirit vanished. Another chant from Hagar produced another apparition, not a lovely one, for with a bang an ugly black imp appeared and, having croaked a reply, tossed a dark bottle at Hugo and disappeared with a mocking laugh. Having warbled his thanks and put the potions in his boots, Hugo departed, and Hagar informed the audience that as he had killed a few of her friends in times past, she had cursed him, and intends to thwart his plans, and be revenged on him. Then the curtain fell, and the audience reposed and ate candy while discussing the merits of the play. A good deal of hammering went on before the curtain rose again, but when it became evident what a masterpiece of stage carpentry had been got up, no one murmured at the delay. It was truly superb. A tower rose to the ceiling, halfway up appeared a window with a lamp burning in it, and behind the white curtain appeared Zara in a lovely blue and silver dress, waiting for Roderigo. He came in gorgeous array, with plumed cap, red cloak, chestnut lovelocks, a guitar, and the boots, of course. Kneeling at the foot of the tower, he sang a serenade in melting tones. Zara replied and, after a musical dialogue, consented to fly. Then came the grand effect of the play. Roderigo produced a rope ladder, with 5 steps to it, threw up one end, and invited Zara to descend. Timidly she crept from her lattice, put her hand on Roderigo's shoulder, and was about to leap gracefully down when alas! Alas for Zara! She forgot her train. It caught in the window, the tower tottered, leaned forward, fell with a crash, and buried the unhappy lovers in the ruins. A universal shriek arose as the RU-set boots waved wildly from the wreck and a golden head emerged, exclaiming, "I told you so! I told you so!" With wonderful presence of mind, Don Pedro, the cruel sire, rushed in, dragged out his daughter, with a hasty aside. "Don't laugh. Act as if it was all right." And, ordering Roderigo up, banished him from the kingdom with wrath and scorn. Though decidedly shaken by the fall from the tower upon him, Roderigo defied the old gentleman and refused to stir. This dauntless example fired Zara. She also defied her sire, and he ordered them both to the deepest dungeons of the castle. A stout little retainer came in with chains and led them away, looking very much frightened and evidently forgetting the speech he ought to have made. Act Third was the castle hall, and here Hagar appeared, having come to free the lovers and finish Hugo. She hears him coming and hides, sees him put the potions into 2 cups of wine and bid the timid little servant bear them to the captives in their cells, and tell them I shall come anon. The servant takes Hugo aside to tell him something, and Hagar changes the cups for 2 others which are harmless. Ferdinando, the minion, carries them away, and Hagar puts back the cup which holds the poison meant for Roderigo. Hugo, getting thirsty after a long warble, drinks it, loses his wits, and after a good deal of clutching and stamping, falls flat and dies, while Hagar informs him what she has done in a song of exquisite power and melody. This was a truly thrilling scene, though some persons might have thought that the sudden tumbling down of a quantity of long red hair rather marred the effect of the villain's death. He was called before the curtain, and with great propriety appeared, leading Hagar, whose singing was considered more wonderful than all the rest of the performance put together. Act Fourth displayed the despairing Roderigo on the point of stabbing himself, because he has been told that Zara has deserted him. Just as the dagger is at his heart, a lovely song is sung under his window, informing him that Zara is true but in danger, and he can save her if he will. A key is thrown in, which unlocks the door, and in a spasm of rapture he tears off his chains and rushes away to find and rescue his lady love. Question. Questions. 1. What does the phrase "played her gayest march" refer to? A. Beth's sad musical performance. B. Beth's cheerful and lively musical performance. C. Beth's skill on a military march song. D. Beth's reluctant playing to hide her nervousness. 2. Analyze the significance of the homemade props and costumes in the context of the home festival. How do these creations reflect the characters' personalities and resourcefulness? A. The props and costumes symbolize the characters' creativity and imagination, showcasing their ability to make the best of limited resources. B. The props and costumes represent a superficial attempt at entertainment, highlighting the characters' lack of sophistication. C. The props and costumes serve as a distraction from the true meaning of the festival, suggesting a focus on appearances rather than genuine sentiment. D. The props and costumes reflect the characters' desire for extravagance and luxury, despite their financial limitations. 3. What does the passage "glittering with tin spangles from a pickle factory" suggest about the girls' attitude towards entertainment and creativity? A. They place a high value on expensive, store-bought props. B. They find joy and amusement in using simple, repurposed items. C. They are overly concerned with making everything look realistic. D. They lack the imagination to devise their own costumes. 4. Why did Joe take immense satisfaction in the russet leather boots? A. They were an expensive and fashionable gift. B. They were specifically designed for theatrical performances. C. They allowed her to convincingly play male roles. D. They were a rare antique passed down in her family. 5. In the context of the passage, what is the closest meaning of the word treasures as it applies to Joe's boots, foil, and doublet? A. Items of significant monetary value. B. Objects linked to her artistic aspirations. C. Sentimental gifts from loved ones. D. Symbols of her upper-class status. 6. Why was the small size of their acting group significant? A. It made it easier for them to share costumes and props. B. It meant each actor had to learn multiple roles. C. It limited their ability to put on complex plays. D. It made it challenging to fill the audience seats. 7. Which of the following best summarizes the author's view on how the girls used their time, as expressed in "It was excellent drill for their memories, a harmless amusement, and employed many hours which"? A. They were irresponsible and wasted many hours on frivolous play. B. They filled their leisure time with a mix of productive and enjoyable activities. C. They were kept so busy with chores, they had little free time. D. They should have spent more time on formal education than creative play. 8. What might the flattering state of expectancy of the audience indicate about their relationship with the girls? A. They pity the girls and suspect the play will be very poor. B. They are genuinely supportive and excited about the performance. C. They feel obligated to attend due to social pressure. D. They are professional critics ready to harshly judge the production. 9. What do the rustling, whispering, and occasional giggles from behind the curtain suggest about the experience of the girls? A. Intense focus and nerves before the performance. B. Boredom and disinterest in their own play. C. Excitement mixed with a bit of nervous energy. D. Frustration with technical difficulties and delays. 10. What can be inferred about the genre of the play the girls are performing based on the phrase operatic tragedy? A. A light-hearted comedy with singing and dancing. B. A historical drama with realistic dialogue and setting. C. A serious play with a focus on exaggerated emotions and likely a sad ending. D. An improvised play with little established plot or structure. 11. How does the use of real steam create a sense of realism in this play scene? A. It breaks the fourth wall and directly involves the audience. B. It creates an unexpected and shocking special effect. C. It incorporates a tangible detail that enhances the illusion. D. It introduces a humorous element that lightens the mood. 12. What is the closest meaning of the word strain as used in the phrase, burst out in a wild strain? A. A type of musical instrument. B. A feeling of physical exertion. C. A short melody or musical passage. D. A restrictive force or influence. 13. Describe the cause and effect relationship between Hugo's singing and the audience's applause. A. The audience appreciates Hugo's powerful voice and dramatic singing, leading to their applause. B. The audience is mocking Hugo's exaggerated performance, and their applause is sarcastic. C. The applause is meant to encourage Hugo, regardless of the quality of his singing. D. The audience doesn't applaud Hugo's singing but applauds his dramatic stage presence. 14. What does the phrase Kabbalistic signs most likely refer to? A. Simple decorative patterns with no particular meaning. B. Symbols connected with witchcraft or the occult. C. Humorous signs mocking Hugo's character. D. Astrological symbols foreshadowing future events. 15. What is the implied attitude of Hagar towards Hugo's requests for potions? A. Resentful compliance. B. Eagerness to help. C. Indifference. D. Fearful reluctance. 16. Which of the following best describes the tone of the passage containing the lines born of roses, fed on dew, charms and potions canst thou brew? A. Ominous and threatening. B. Whimsical and magical. C. Sorrowful and regretful. D. Mocking and sarcastic. 17. Which term best describes the language used in the phrase make it sweet and swift and strong? A. Formal and complex. B. Imperative and demanding. C. Gentle and persuasive. D. Vague and uncertain. 18. 18. Which literary element is primarily employed in the description, little figure in cloudy white, with glittering wings, golden hair, and a garland of roses on its head? A. Symbolism. B. Imagery. C. Alliteration. D. Metaphor. 19. What is the implied message conveyed through the spirit's song, particularly the line "and use it well, or its power will vanish soon"? A. Magic should only be used by the pure of heart. B. Love gained through magic is fleeting and unreliable. C. True love is worth fighting for without magical means. D. The witch Hagar is not to be trusted and will betray Hugo. 20. What is the ugly black imp's attitude towards Hugo when it appears in the play? A. Respectful and obedient. B. Indifferent and detached. C. Mocking and derisive. D. Fearful and submissive. 21. What is the significance of Roderigo's chestnut lovelocks? A. They indicate his old age and frailty. B. They were a required costume piece for villainous characters. C. They symbolized his romantic and dashing nature. D. They were a humorous element designed to make him less intimidating. 22. In the context of the sentence, her lattice, what is the closest meaning of the word lattice? A. A type of woven fabric. B. An elaborate hairstyle. C. A decorative metal railing. D. A framework of crossed strips, often forming a window. 23. What is the attitude of the narrator towards the events described in the passage, particularly the line alas? Alas for Zara. A. Genuine sympathy for the character's predicament. B. Critical judgment of the poorly crafted play. C. Mild amusement at the over-the-top melodrama. D. Boredom and disinterest in the predictable storyline. 24. What is the chronological order of events leading to the collapse of the tower? A. Zara crept from her lattice, her train caught in the window, Roderigo produced a rope ladder, the tower tottered, the tower fell with a crash. B. Roderigo produced a rope ladder, Zara crept from her lattice, her train caught in the window, the tower tottered, the tower fell with a crash. C. The tower tottered, Zara crept from her lattice, Roderigo produced a rope ladder, her train caught in the window, the tower fell with a crash. D. The tower fell with a crash. Zara crept from her lattice. Rodrigo produced a rope ladder, her train caught in the window, the tower tottered. 25. What effect does the stage direction "a universal shriek arose" likely have on the audience within the play? A. It increases their sense of anxiety and tension. B. It causes them to panic and flee the theater. C. It breaks the illusion of the play, making them laugh. D. It enhances their immersion in the dramatic scene. 26. What is the cause and effect relationship between the russet boots character's defiance, "I told you so," and Don Pedro's entrance? A. Don Pedro admires the character's courage and offers assistance. B. Don Pedro is intimidated by the character's words and retreats. C. Don Pedro is angered by the character's words and acts rashly. D. Don Pedro is unaware of the character's words and enters for an unrelated reason. 27. Which word best describes Hugo's reaction after drinking the poisoned cup? A. Composure. B. Irrational. C. Nonchalance. D. Tranquility. 28. What is Hagar's likely attitude towards Hugo as she informs him of her actions? A. Spiteful and triumphant. B. Regretful and apologetic. C. Indifferent and detached. D. Fearful and hesitant. 29. What effect does the tumbling down of a quantity of long red hair have on the scene? A. It enhances the suspenseful and dangerous atmosphere. B. It creates a sense of mystery and intrigue for the audience. C. It undermines the seriousness of the villain's death. D. It symbolizes Hugo's ultimate power and control.